Hello, I'm doing a school project and decided to as well do it as a tutorial for Unity asset store. Unity asset store asset called DOTween. Uh, Now I'm assuming you know how to import assets, so I won't be going through that. But in essence, won't be going through that in video form. But in essence, all you need to do is get the DOTween from Unity Asset Store, you find it from my assets and import it. And you can import everything. Once you have imported it, this kind of a window will pop up in your Unity. So open DOTween utility panel and then you set up DOTween. From here it's gonna take a few moments to set it up. And here are the models you can choose from. You can choose audio tweens, physics tweens, physics 2D, sprites, UI tweens, and I would just apply everything here right now. And then here you can also see the DOTween website, get started, fast links to all the sites. Looking at it, this is the get started site. There's documentations, examples, very few though, support, showcase. You also can purchase the pro version, download it if you want to. A lot of things you can do. Yep, you can also check for updates. Preferences menu. Here you can get what the log captures. Yep, a lot of simple things. Utilities. Apparently it's empty. Cool. Once you have gotten set the DOTween up so you have what you want, you can close the panel and let's get straight to the actually doing the things. So I have already made the DOTween test script and an object here which we will attach the script to once it opens. So now that we have where did this open? Now that we have this script open, let's get the basics down. So first things first, if you want to use DOTween, it's not DOTween while I've been calling it that. While I was calling that, it's DOTween. So first thing first, if you want to use it on your scripts, you need to add using dg.tweening namespace to your script. Then let's make a simple example of moving the cube you just shown. So first things first, let's add a serialized field for the rigid body. Let's call it RP for now. And for the start method, let's make a RP dot transform dot do. This is how you start all the commands from DOTween. Do, let's make it move. And the move takes, as you can see, there is quite a good documentation already. The move function takes a vector3 value as the endpoint. It takes a float value for the duration, and it checks if you want to snap. By default it's false, but you can turn it to true. So let's say we want to make it to move a specific place. So we add new vector3. And just make that because I don't like the squiggly lines. Let's say we move to 1, 3, 7. Then it takes the float number for the speed, let's say for example 5. And by default the last value is false, but let's set it in the code. And in essence this is all we need. Now if we attach, where actually I have already attached the script here, then we can take the rigid body and put it here on the RP slot. That's all we need. And now when we start the game, the cube moves, as you can see. Over 5 seconds it moves the position. Yeah, that's basically all you need to do the DOTween. So you have the do move, or do command, what you want to do, and then you put in all the things it wants. But this is not everything you can do. For example, we can make a set ease function here, and ease dot, and here we have all the different ease modes we can use. So let's say we make a circle. Let's see what that does. Does it change the move in any way? Yeah, it speeds up towards the end. Then we can do something like linear. This should have it moving at the same speed for the whole time. As you can see, it does that. It moves at the same speed for the whole section. And let's just make a third example still. Let's say we make an out. So what this does, it starts as faster and slows to the end, if I'm correct. Yes. There are many different ease modes. It basically just means that it does the movement, it does the tween in a bit different way. Yeah, that's the basics. So all the commands start with do. To use the tweening, you need to use the DOTweening namespace, and when you're using the whatever tween you are using, you can see the things it requires from here. But now for a bit more advanced things you can do with DOTween. This time I am not gonna show the coding progress. I am gonna make a separate scene with some of the things, probably showing. I'm gonna make a separate scene with some of the things and show the code for them then. So here I have set up a small scene. There are a few different tweens on the scene, and let's see if you can. Let's see them in action. So number one, you can hear the sound. Here you can see the color change. You hopefully noticed it. You can see the sound is fading away, and the last tween we have is a camera wheel of view. So we are changing the wheel of view from here. Let's say we go to 100. And it again changes over a few seconds back to 30. And next, let's see how all this works. So let's start from the camera. Again, we have the DOTweening namespace. We are taking a reference to the object we are tweening, in this case camera. I'm setting the camera domain start function, and in update function I'm having a simple if condition to check whether or not I press Q from my keyboard. And we again camera dot do, which, like I said, you start all the commands in this DOTween with do. Actually, let's zoom in a little bit so you can see better. So again, tweening, take reference to the object. Here we are setting it to main camera. We start with do, and then we tell what we want to do. In this case, we want to do wheel of view, tween. Then we set the parameters in, and as you can see from here, again, it's showing what parameters do you need for a specific function. In this case, those are end value, so what we want the wheel of view to be, and duration, and both as a float value. Next, let's take the light color changing or tweening. So again, reference to the object using the DG namespace, DOTweening namespace. And in start function we have directional light dot get component, so we get the light component of the directional light object, and do color, so we are tweening the color of the light object. We set a new color with the RPG value. You could store the color in a variable instead and get the variable name here. Then we have the float as a duration again, and again you can see everything parameters in it here. Then the audio source, basically the same thing, but this time we are getting the audio source component. We are telling it we want to fade. We want to fade to which value we want to fade the audio source volume. In this case we fade it all the way to 0 over 15 seconds. And here we have the jumping, bit more complicated thing, bit more complicated tween. So we take the rigid body, we give it the do jump, we give it the vector, in this case new vector value, which this again can be if you want to make a new vector. And now I actually remember what that was. So we would make a vector 3, which we would set to new vector 3 endpoint, which would be new vector 3 with the value of 3.0.3, and we could use it here as a endpoint, and it works. So the same thing could be done here. So we would take color, since it's blue, let's give it that, and then we would use new color 0, 255, 237, and we could use that here as well. And it would work, and we can actually see it working. Yes, but back to the do jump. So here we have a vector 3 endpoint. In this case, now that we have edited it, we have the float value for the jump power, so how high it jumps. This could also be a minus value, in which case it would jump under. This float presents the y value. We have a how many number of jumps, which is an integer. In this case I have put it 2 jumps, and you saw it did 2 jumps. I could go for 3, I could go for minus. We have the duration, I could change this to 10, so it would take a bit longer. And we have the snapping, so does it snap the values or does it do them in more natural way? So by default it's false, but again I have set it to false in the code as well. And let's see what the changes do, and let's actually change this also a little bit just for funsies. Let's say something like 23, and for the audio source, no wait, for this one let's change the values a bit more so it has time to do the larger jumps. Let's actually just double them from the initial values. Yeah, let's change just something more. Let's put you like 90 so it zooms out instead of in, just to show that everything works. Okay, everything's saved up, and now we can see stuff has happened and everything is a bit different. then if we now press the Q, which zooms out, you can see it zooming out to the 90. Yes, as you can see, using DOTween is extremely simple and easy, and from here we can check. I don't know why, but apparently OBS decided to cut the recording just there. But as I was saying, DOTween is extremely powerful tool, and here we can see a lot of things it can be used for. Audio mixers, audio sources, cameras, lights, line renderer, materials, rigid bodies, rigid body 2Ds, sprite renderers, more, transforms. There are some pro-only ways of using it, but most of this stuff is free, so there is the pro-only text when it is something behind a paywall. You can use it for Unity UI in many different ways, as you can see. It even has compatibility with some external assets. This, I actually have no idea what assets these are, but as you can see, there are quite a few. Some of them are only for pro version of the kit, and I'm pretty sure this is actually only free version. Only external asset that comes with the free version. As you can see, there are a lot. There are sequences you can create with DOTween. I will add one more clip about sequences to the end of the video. So as for the sequence stuff, I made a quick, well, I didn't make it, I just shamelessly copied it. I shamelessly copied this script, but we can show off the sequence and how it works. So, we started, cube moves, spins around, and that's the sequence I made, or copied. And the way it works on the code side is, again, let's zoom in so you can see. So, DOTweening, I made a new vector tree called rotation for the sequence itself. First we declare the sequence, so we take my sequence, we call the sequence, my sequence equals DOTween.sequence, then my sequence we append stuff, so appending is just adding something, starting from a specific start of the sequence, adding something at the end of it. So we append quick doMoveX, so it moves along the x-axis to the sequence. Then we append another thing, so it plays after this one has completed, and this takes the rotation, vector 3 rotation, and the time it takes, and percent interval is just it takes a second to start. And there are more things you can add to the sequencing, so that appending adds to the end of the sequence. You could also append callback. Again, I don't really know how any of this works, but this is the basic idea of sequencing in DOTween. Yes, I hope this video did give you some idea how it works, how the DOTween works, or anything else. For my fellow students whom I made this video for in most places, feel free to ask about this asset. I'm happy to help you with it as the best of my abilities. And for everybody else, I again hope the video was useful. I have not done something like this, or basically any tutorial videos ever. Yes. Have a good rest of your day, and bye.